And Dave Sussman back in here in the chair at Real Side Radio on the Salem Radio and GCN Radio Network across 70 radio stations across the fruited plain. And boy, I got to tell you, yeah, I'm lit up tonight. I am angry. I am frustrated. I am feeling that this tsunami of leftism that has overtaken our academia, our culture, pop culture, obviously the government outside of the White House and the Senate, and it's like a tsunami that's crashing down on us. But you know what? We've got warriors that are out there that are looking to fight back, and one of those warriors is looking to take it to Adam Schiff in Congressional District 28. He's returning to the Real Side with me. He's also been here with me at Whiskey Politics, and that is Eric Early. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Always good to be on your show, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. First of all, it was great seeing you the other night. We actually attended a party like the old times where people were there and there was a buffet and people were blowing out candles on a birthday cake. What was that like?
Well, it was great. I didn't see a mask in sight, and nobody was social distancing. And my fiance and I, we've been pretty much living our life the last 3 months. Not too many masks and not too much social distancing. I've believed really from the beginning that these people have gone way overboard and trampled on our constitutional rights for at least the last 2 months. They're still doing it to the point where I can't even open up my law firm's office right now in Los Angeles, which is a joke. But we have a spineless mayor named Garcetti, and he's being led around on a leash by the county health commissioner. I think that's her title, something like that, Dr. Farrar, who her title is doctor, but she is a PhD doctor. She's not a medical doctor. So she's calling all the medical shots in the county right now. But if she went to try and take your blood, Dave, she'd be thrown in prison because she's not allowed to do that. And this is what's, telling people to stay locked in this town and wear masks every 5 seconds as really a joke. And then if you look at her background, she is the consummate community activist, far left social justice warrior type. And this is what's calling the shots in the county right now. It's an outrage.
First of all, she's making more money than the president of the United States. I don't know if you saw that article. She's like $400,000 plus a year salary. And as you said, she's not a legitimate doctor, but she's been given this massive responsibility for a massive population of people that are essentially just locked in their homes, scared to death right now of doing anything. Okay, you're running against Adam Schiff, and I want to get into Adam Schiff here in just a few moments. But talk about this from the standpoint of the psychological impact. I'm calling this a mass psychosis right now. And how long do you think this is going to remain with us as a populace?
Well, I don't know. Dave, I'm still amazed when, Emerald and I just went out to dinner because now we're allowed to have dinner here. And, you're watching these people walking down the street in 90-degree heat. There's not a person anywhere near them. They're walking their dog and they're wearing a mask. And it's like I look at Emerald and I say, do they think like COVID's going to bounce off the dog's butt and go in their nose or something? Then I see people jogging down the street with a mask on with nobody around them. This kind of stuff is nuts. So, I've got I could go on and on about this governor in this state who's a tyrant, about this mayor, about my opponent Schiff. They're all part of this same team of far left Democrats who all believe that they know better than us, Dave. They're morally superior to us, and they're apparently much smarter than us, according to them. And these are some of the reasons I'm running, because I can't stand who these people think they are and how they've treated so many of us. I'm not a politician, as you know. I have run a law firm now for many years. I'm part owner of the law firm. We have about 30 lawyers. We're a nationwide law firm. We practice all over the country. We're nationally recognized. I've got a great family. So, I've got a blessed life. I don't need this politics stuff. But for a couple of reasons, I just got fed up. So I stepped up, and thankfully I got past the primary March 3rd. There were 8 of us total in the primary. The top 2 go to the general election. Top 2's me and the sociopath named Adam Schiff. And, I've been endorsed by the California Republican Party and the LA County Republican Party and all kinds of great other organizations and individuals, and I'm taking on this character. But one thing I've been saying really since July when I got in the race, and since before July, is that I firmly believe, and I've been saying this actually for a couple of years now, that we're in a battle of good versus evil in this country, like a serious battle of good versus evil. And I think the last 2 weeks have really driven that home to a lot more great Americans, seeing what we just went through with the riots and the looting and the burning and all of these outrages. Then, our LAPD, I just applaud them for the great job they did, the restraint in the face of these barbarians, throwing bricks at them and bars at them and bottles of water and, rocks and everything else at them, and running up and screaming in their faces. And so what do they get as a result? What thanks do they get as a result? A couple days later, the spineless worm of a Mayor Garcetti says he's taking $150, $250 million of their funds and giving it to who knows who. We don't know where the money's going. So he has essentially gotten on his knees, and he thinks he's buying peace in our time here. And this type of evil we're fighting, these really, they're communists, so many of them. I support our First Amendment. I support our right to demonstrate, to protest. I don't support any of that violence. And in the face of that violence, that looting, the fires, and everything else, this incredibly weak mayor gets on his knees and thinks he's really paying ransom to groups that we don't know of. We don't know really what they do. And this is what he does in response to the violence that they perpetrated on all of us. And it's an outrage. These people, this is like part of the Obama, Schiff, Newsom, Becerra, Garcetti line of appeasers. They're weak individuals. And one thing evil knows is they know weakness a mile away. They smell it a mile away. And all they're going to do, this is going to make them come back again when they're ready for another payment from these weak people.
Eric, in our last 30 seconds here before our first commercial break, we'll bring you through the commercial because I want to talk with you about California 28, your district that you're running to unseat Adam Schiff, what the election is looking like, what you're obviously campaigning for, and we'll talk about all of this after the break. But let everybody know where they could find you, donate to your to your candidacy, and online and everything else.
www.ericearly.com, ERICEARLY.com. You can read all about me. You can donate online. We've gotten thousands of small donations around America. We need your help.
Fantastic. We're going to bring you back through the break here, folks. Don't go away. Dave Sussman here at Real Side Radio. Got Eric Early, who wants to take out Adam Schiff in California 28. We're going to get into that district here right after the break. And welcome back to the, how did 2.5 hours just fly by? Well, when you've got great guests like Eric Early on, it's a lot of fun, and you look down and you look up and you're at the end of your show. Well, listen, Dave Sussman here at Real Side Radio, and speaking of the aforementioned Eric Early, he is running to replace Adam Schiff. Yes, that Adam Schiff, Congressional District 28 in California, and you guys could all, no matter where you are in California or across the fruited plain on the 70 stations listening to us on the GCN and Salem Radio Network, find Eric Early at ericearly.com and support this man, because Eric Early, before the break, I said I wanted to talk about Adam Schiff specifically. Attorney General Bill Barr just came out in the last couple of days, and he stated that he is very troubled by the Durham probe, which the media doesn't want to talk about, because he is saying that there are familiar names that tried to sabotage the Trump campaign. You are running against a congressman. He is the House Intelligence Committee chairman. And for 3 years, he was running out from committee meeting after committee meeting and saying to the press that he had evidence and proof that there was Russian collusion, of which the Mueller report came out and emphatically denied. Where is this in the news, and how are you getting this message out that you can't rely upon this man who is a liar to continue to support this district and work for this district?
Well, Dave, 2 weeks ago, the Wall Street Journal editorial board, dated May 12th, 2020, came out with an editorial. And the Wall Street Journal is not some crazy, wacky conspiracy theory paper. And the editorial concluded with the following quote: "As to Mr. Schiff, no one should ever believe another word he says." That's from the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal. And that's because Schiff is a proven liar. One of the reasons I got in this race, besides the fact that I do believe we're in a battle of good versus evil, we need good people to step up right now, support our president, is that Schiff, I live in the district here, and I'd be sitting on TV watching as this character would get on TV every Sunday, look at us and lie to us and tell us that he had clear-cut evidence that the president had colluded with the Russians to get elected. And this was long before the Mueller report came out, but so many of us knew from day one that this guy was completely full of it. And I took it personally. I took it personally that he was lying to me, and I got fed up. And so I stepped up, and I'm so glad I did, because I don't have an ounce of respect for the guy. And so what did he do? Finally, there are all these transcripts of all these people that were taken before Schiff embarked on the Russia hoax, and they all testified under oath, even Obama officials, that there was no evidence whatsoever of the president colluding with Russians. Schiff sat on these transcripts. He could have produced them a year ago. He held them because he's the head of the intelligence committee. He didn't want anybody to see him. Finally, the Trump administration forced his hand and said, if you don't produce them, we're going to produce them. So about 3 weeks ago, Schiff produces these transcripts under oath, and they all showed that he was lying since day one. So it's proven. And the mainstream media really downplayed that entire story. But, I won't let the people out here forget that. I remember it very well. I remember what he put all of us through. And, Schiff has never run into anything like me, Dave. Or maybe he did 20 years ago when he first took the position. He beat a great congressman named Jim Rogan. But since then, he's basically soft-pedaled it into office the last 10 elections. And I'm going to take it directly to this guy, and I am constantly on social media and everywhere I have a platform to do it. I now have I've been given 2 different radio shows of my own, which is remarkable. So, for example, every Sunday on AM 870, The Answer, which is a great Salem radio station here in Los Angeles, I do a show. And so I'm talking to the people more and more. We're getting the word out. The mainstream media out here, which is, the Los Angeles Times and such, they want to make believe I don't exist because they are one of the aiders and abettors of this deviant Adam Schiff. But we're taking it to him all the time, Dave. I'm speaking all around the district. I mean, right now I'm doing it by Zooms. I can't wait to be able to get out there and talk to the people again. But one of the great things is besides the Republicans, and thank God the Republicans are supporting me, but I've got to convince a lot of independents who are on the fence to come my way, and I also have to bring around a lot of moderate Democrats. And more people that we speak to, even moderate Democrats, they've seen this guy Schiff in action. They're sick of him. They realize not only did he lie to them also, but he has abandoned our district for the last 20 years. He could care less about us, just by virtue of the fact that Schiff's been in office for 20 years alone with nothing else. Means he's got to be thrown out of office.
So Eric, let me ask you this, because I think one of the biggest issues about running against an incumbent like Adam Schiff is that he is in a very supportive district. I forget what the numbers were, but I mean, it was D plus what?
D plus a lot. But Dave, let me say another thing. Let me say how I'm reaching out to across the board.
Yeah.
Right now, what we need in office is somebody who not only cares about the district, who's here in the district, unlike Schiff, and who can roll up his sleeves, me, and work with all the stakeholders, from everybody from the bankers to the lenders to the workers groups, to the unions, to the teachers groups, to the schools, to the real estate folks, and everybody else to bring our district back from the depths of this depression created by COVID. I've been an attorney for 27 years. These groups have all been my clients for most of those 27 years. I've negotiated with all of them at one time or another. I've worked with all of them at one time or another. I've solved problems for all of them at one time or another. I'm the only one in this race that remotely has the skills to do what's necessary to rebuild from the ground up. Schiff, on the other hand, all he's good for is being put in a back room with a couple stacks of paper and dreaming up his next hoax. So that's a huge issue that's resonating across the board. We have other big issues out here. There's something called AB5, which Schiff supports, which is doing away with independent contractors nationwide. We have many independent contractors in our district that work in the film industry. I want to repeal AB5. There's a national version that Schiff is co-sponsoring that would do away with independent contractors around the country. I'll do whatever I can to prevent that from coming in. So, we have a lot going on. And I'm also, another huge issue for me, Dave, because I really believe this is what we're facing. And maybe you talked about this earlier in your show today. I don't know. But what we saw and what we're seeing, this sort of, forget about socialism. These people are going straight to communism, this underlying takeover of our country. What you saw with all those kids out there demonstrating, kids of all races, creeds, colors, you wonder where they're all come from. A lot of kids from great backgrounds. This is what you get when you put them through a 20-year indoctrination program in their public and in many times private schools, where they go in, they're learning to hate America. They're learning that socialism and communism is great. They're learning that religion is bad. They're learning that being Caucasian is somehow, you should be guilty for it, and on and on. And these are huge issues for me. I'm leading a big lawsuit right now of over 300 great people in Santa Barbara, trying to throw one of these social justice warrior organizations out of the school up there. We've gotten their materials. You see how they brainwash these kids. Yeah. I get calls from parents around the country who've been seeing this stuff with their kids. They're saying, Eric, how can we get rid of it? I get to Congress. I want to hold the federal taxpayer dollars, which they all get, these schools, over their heads. You want to hire these groups, you don't get the money. I've got other ideas too, but we have to stop. I don't know if we can save this present generation, the next generation. We have to start teaching them to love our great country again.
The problem that you got, and we all have, is that the left controls everything. Every major institution in America, in the mainstream media, the academy, we're talking about administration, governments, corporations, Hollywood, and you're right in the belly of the beast. So, best of luck with everything. Obviously, we'll be talking a lot more and seeing each other a lot more before the campaign. But tell everybody where they could find you, no matter where they are around the country. I know you're getting a lot of supporters. We've got 30 seconds left. Tell everybody where to go so that they can support Eric Early for Congress.
www.ericearly.com. Please donate. Please go in there, read about me, Dave. It's always great talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you soon, buddy.
And look forward to seeing you too, Eric. And I'll take you up on that offer for that barbecue as well, because
got it.
It's always good hanging out with you, and it was good seeing you last weekend as well. So best of luck with everything, and we'll have you back on again as we get out of this chaos that we're currently in right now and talk about, realistically speaking, how we can turn that district and get rid of Adam Schiff. Best of luck with everything. Thank you so much, Eric. And folks, I got to just say, what we've been talking about tonight is something, and I'm going to come back after the break here with you to talk about how we move from this where we are right now, where we are so divided, where I'm getting unfriends all the time on Facebook and this and that from people that I've known for 10, 20, 30 years, because we just can't communicate anymore. We need to talk about this, and I'll be talking about this after the break. Don't go away with our last segment here at Real Side Radio. Dave Sussman,